Well, it's telling me that I'm live. This is one of the most recognizable uh, images of Enochian magic. It's the siglum de Emeth, or D, or Day Emeth. And Emeth is uh, it's kind of a word of meaning the big god. It's made up of the first and middle letter and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, Mem, Tav. But anyway, uh, uh, most of Enochian magic that's practical Enochian magic that's done nowadays deals with either the 30 aethers or with the elemental tablets. But we always see included in like Crowley's Liber Hanoch, this image and a few brief words about it. And it does sit up on the holy table, and the magic mirror rests on it and everything else. And Dee and Kelly went through a great deal of effort to construct it. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I spent several years writing this, Enochian Vision Magic, and I tried to make this whole experience of Dee and Kelly's uh, magical adventures, including their early magical adventures, which included the construction of this thing. And it's nice to have everybody either makes a wax one of their own, or now they buy beautiful ones made out of beeswax, and they're very popular. And everybody's got one on their altar. And serious Enochian magicians, when they set up their holy table, they've got four little miniature versions of it in wax, usually placed in little like petri dish size boxes, and the holy table legs sit on top of that like they're insulating the floor of the holy table. And then there's a larger one, about 9 inches in diameter, that's set right smack dab in the middle of the holy table. And the construction of the holy table was a very interesting setup too, that Dee and Kelly did, and all of that's outlined in Enochian Vision Magic. And I wrote it, quite a few years ago. So, and then there's all sorts of stuff that goes over the holy table, and the magician wears a lamen, which is sort of like a miniature stylized holy table that sort of links the magician to the holy table while they do their scrying sessions. And in a sense, the perfection of the table reaches out to the almost perfection of the magician and his or her lamen. And the scrying mirror itself is setting right on top. Well, it's covered with a red silk cloth, but right on top of this siglum de Emeth is that scrying mirror. Now, imagine that you've got this holy of holies in your living room, or your temple, your bedroom, your garage, or wherever you've got this stuff set up. It really is holy ground. You make holy ground in your house. And it's sacred space. It's a little bit different than the idea of the magic circle and a triangle set up. This is different. You turn a whole freaking room into a temple, and within that temple, you've got holy ground, which is that table. It's it's your macrocosmic God place, okay, in your room, and you sit down in front of that, and the holiest holy of that holiness is that sigilum. Is that sigilum. And on top of that is your monitor, your viewing screen, which is your black mirror, okay, or your scrying stone. Your crystal ball would go there if you scry into a crystal ball. Now, what makes that Holy of Holies so freaking holy? And it's all based on the holy number 7. Now, I show in the book, we just don't talk about the sigillum. There's that holy table and a key to that thing. But I take you on the adventure of the angels helping Dee and Kelly to construct this Holy of Holies, this sigillum Diameth. And they start off very simply. And I take you on this step, one step at a time. And when you do it one step at a time, not only are you creating your own, you're installing it in yourself. And all you have to do is pay attention and take things step by step. Now, with Dee and Kelly, step by step really meant step by step. I mean, like, see these 40 squares, these cells on the outer perimeter. Every one of them has either a letter over a number, or a number over a letter, or just simply a letter. And a few of them are capitalized. They just didn't get that as a single vision. They got it as 40 separate visions. Little angels, little characters, Smurfs appeared wearing little togas or little tunics, and each one of them came in on a different dramatic scene. One of them, the wind blew in and surrounded by wind and things like that, and the little character says hello and flashes. It pulls his raincoat aside, and there's a number over a letter, or a letter over a number, or just a thing. And then he makes this pronouncement of some kind, very biblical sounding. And then dramatic lightning strikes him and he goes away. And that's just for one of those cells. There's a little dramatic vision like that for every one of those letters over numbers, or numbers over letters and stuff. Okay. Those numbers and letters are used to spell out names, and there's a code and a key to how to spell out names. And eventually there will be 2 7x7 squares, lettered squares. And out of those lettered squares, whether they're read up and down, right and left, diagonal this way, diagonal that way, diagonal coming up, diagonal that way going up, okay? To make a series of angel names. Okay. And these angel names are described in a wonderful vision of the Archangel Michael, or Michael, March 20th, 1582, who makes this simple but awesome statement. 7 rest in 7, and the 7 live by 7. The 7 govern the 7, and by 7 all government is. That's government of existence, government of heaven and hell, heaven and earth, heaven of you and me. Okay. Of course, I threw that in. Then they filled in those squares with all of those little Smurf visions. And they filled them in, first of all, with a little chart like that. Okay. And each of those 7 names that were drawn, these are like God names. They gave a little sigil, a little symbol for each one of them. Okay. And those here, those little symbols are right there. You see the G with the cross on it and stuff like that. Okay. Hang on, talk amongst yourselves. Then they were to make this 7-sided figure and then make it a bar. And with that, there's that first 7 by 7 lettered square. They filled in those letters along each of those bars were broken up into 7 cells, and those names were spelled out. Now, it looks like these names over here, these names are just spelled right out, okay? That. And you can see them spelled right out, right there, and there, and there, okay, along those, in those bars. But that's not the name of the angel. The name of the angel is the first bar, first cell of that bar, and then the next letter of that angel's name is in the first cell of that bar, etc., etc., etc. So when you repeat the name of the angel, you're not just doing it linearly in one dimension. You're going this level and you move over here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. So when you say the word, when you say the name of the angel, Zedekiel, you're actually going around the sigillum on 7 layers. And there's 7 of those. So when you repeat those 7 names, okay, when you repeat Zafkael, Zedekiel, Kumael, Raphael, Hanael, Mikael, Gabriel, because that's what it spells out on that thing. You're literally weaving a 7-layered basket just by repeating their names. You are taking that flat surface and turning it into 7 dimensions and then weaving 7 names inside it. And just by uttering those 7 names in that 7 order, with that siglum laying there like that as the floor of a 7-layered temple that you're building, that you've woven around that monitor screen of your black mirror, can you see how that sort of sets you up for angelic communication? Anyway, so I'm just going to show you step by step. And the way I've set it up here, you actually get it. Well, it's simpler than you think, but it sure looks complex. Now there's a little vision, right, or a little illustration of what I mean. Zedekiel is spelled out, and there's 7 layers as it goes around the base of the. See, each one of them is a little bit higher than the next. Okay. And there's one of those squares. Now these angel names are spelled out by reading the square, diagonally pointing down. And they create those angel names. And this one, diagonally going down from left to down to lower right, and it gives that set of angel names. Who's placed right there in the little triangle, and then the bars. And then there's letters under the bars. Those are the sons of light. Okay. Okay, and there's another set. And they're placed inside that 7-sided figure. Okay. Finally, there's a zigzaggy way to read the squares to give you the 7 angels that surround that pentagram. Those there's a key to their planetary rulership of those, all of those angels, because they do. 7, 7, okay, it's the planetary. Kabbalistically, this would be, associated with this, the 7 double letters. Okay, and finally, you got your completed hexagram, or siglum diameth. And on the back of it, you inscribe that agla thing there, or agala. But I digress. What the hell do you do with it? Okay. The same thing could be said, what the hell do you do with the holy table? Okay. It's not particularly part of the practical workings of the scrying the 30 aethers, or using the elemental tablets like the Golden Dawn kind of developed, and Crowley took that ball and ran with it. Why was Dean Kelly required to take months of intense work? Now, work like this, visionary work, takes it out of you, okay? It really does. It's exhausting. It's exhilarating and exhausting at the same time. For what purpose did Dean Kelly? They got the Enochian magic goodies that we all work with today. They got that information just like in the last 9 months of their almost 3-year relationship. The good stuff just came in the last. Actually, it came in the last 90 days of their workings. That's the material we work with. That lasts pretty much 90 days worth of material. Why did they go through all of this and the holy table and all of that? The lamb and the ring, the whole series of visions that seem to have as their only purpose to occupy in a strange way Dee and Kelly. Yeah, let's just say it was meant to occupy them. To occupy them in such a way as they started to get the details of the mechanism of creation itself, focusing like on the sigilum here, focusing on the number 7. Now there's a quote in the Book of the Law that says that all numbers are infinite. So you look hard enough at any particular number, the secrets of the universe will unravel for you. But there's some that resonate better than others, and 7 is one of those numbers that resonates pretty damn well, because we're used to walking around in a dimension with an up and a down and a right and a left and a front and a back and us as the center, you know. So we're used to that. Okay, well, if you're going to have to understand everything in the bowl of Jello that you're in, well, the bowl of Jello that you're in is named 7. Okay. So I think that it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious to me, at least on one level or another, that Dee and Kelly were not attuned enough to the recipe of the Jello of the dimension that they were in to be able to receive that last creme de la creme 90 days worth of Enochian magic. In other words, the purpose of their magic was to go somewhere, but they didn't have a car. So the first 2.5 years, they were given instructions on the details of creating a Ferrari. Sadly, they didn't get in their Ferrari and go very far, but their records gave it to us. So what the part of the purpose of me taking you through that adventure of their early magical operations, the idea anyway was to allow you and me to, at least on a vicarious level, go through the step-by-step attunement process that Dee and Kelly went through in their first over 2 years of their, okay. You can't do anything magically without mutating yourself. You mutate yourself with every breath you take. And they were focused on all of this, okay, and they were forced, almost monotonously forced, to attune themselves with the same fundamental foundations of existence itself, of creation itself. And only then were they given the Enochian language. Only then were they given the keys, the angelic language, the keys, the calls, which sections of existence those calls opened up, last 90 days. And so I wanted to at least give us the opportunity to step by step attune ourselves to what got them to that last 90 days before we start to do our Enochian magic, our going through the aethers, our working with the elements. So what do we do with our sigilum once we've step by step created it? Because it created 7 sets of angel names. Now, we're not talking about the Holy Table today, but I was convinced that the Holy Table, with all of the lettering on the Holy Table, we were meant to activate the Holy Table by chanting the letters' names in the order that to set into motion the to wind up and turn on the Holy Table, and then wind up and turn on the sigilum to create the space, then do our calls, then sit in the middle of the night and scry your aethers. Then sit in the middle of the night and call forth the elemental spirits, because you are attuned to your equipment. So what do you do with this? Why don't you just start by chanting the angels' names in the order they come down from the outside all the way into here. You can chant their names once. You can chant their names 7 times. You can chant their names until you've chanted yourself into an altered state of consciousness. Galath, Gethog, Thaoth, Holon, Inan, Aoth, Galathog. Zafkael, Zedekiel, Kumael, Raphael, Haniel, Mikael, Gabriel, El, Me, Esse, Iana, Ekele, Azdabon, Stimkol. Iradamal, Ioa, Beiggia, Stimkol. Ab, Ath, Izad, Ekei, Madimi, Esemeli, An, Ave, Liba, Rokle, Hagonel, Ilemes, Sabathael, Zedekiel, Madimiel, Semeleel, Nogahel, Korabael, Lavanael. We've just gone through from the perimeter to the center of the sigillum DMF. And that's it for Tuesday. Tomorrow will be probably a parking lot Wednesday this time. So until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.